to Tenuto Talks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Tenuto Talks, their music, our thoughts. I'm Julia.
And I'm Murray.
And today our subject is opera.
Opera!
Woo! So we're kind of opera nerds.
We're fresh off the opera festival.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a fair
I think so, yeah.
assumption? We're
like
opera
it hurt
nerds.
a little, but it was correct.
Okay, okay, great. The truth hurts.
The truth hurts. Yeah, like we did a lot of opera classes at Bishop's. The head was an opera buff, so it was like an emphasis was put on this. So, but we've studied some different ones too, and then you have more practical experience with it.
Yeah, as a singer, definitely we get to know a bunch of different operas, and when you are in an opera, you get to know it on a whole different level. You know, you hear it so many times that music is constantly going through your head and you can't get it out.
Right, so those ones you know so intimately, and then the other ones...
Even songs that you don't sing. It's like,
right?
Well, I know everyone's songs
and the flute part and the violin part, like, once you...
Do you want, like, a one-woman opera? I will perform it for you.
Okay, it was 2.5 hours, so if you do it all the parts, it could be, like, 48 hours.
Yes, exactly. I could just, like, layer the parts on top of each other.
That would be good, but maybe for another time.
Fine, okay. So we won't bore you with that today.
But we're not doing, like, the usual... Like, if you just found an opera playlist, we're not doing those ones either. We're not doing the cliche ones.
Not too much. One of them, I would say, is, like, overdone. But it is still worth talking about.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're starting with Italian opera.
Yes, all three of them are Italian and from the Romantic era.
Yep, the 19th century.
Exactly. So it's like the 1800s. What year was the...
so
the year for one of
the
them?
Norma's 1831, and then Puccini is later, 1898. So...
Yeah, so in the 1800s they're in Italian. The first one is from Norma. Do you want to give us a little synopsis?
So Norma was my favorite song from all those classes, and it's super sad. So my remembering of it was that she was a high priestess, and then she has kids with a man, and then he cheats or leaves or something, and then she goes to kill him, but then decides to kill the kids too. So
great. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's very uplifting, and the clip I remember on YouTube, like, she was holding the knife, like, above the kids, like,
terrifying.
Singing. And thinking, how can I have these kids if he did me so wrong? So... Yeah,
if they remind
they look like him.
I guess. Oof.
So...
Heavy stuff.
Yeah, it's, like, a good introduction to the deception and, infanticide and murder that's often found in opera.
Yes, lots of murder. Lots of heartbreak. Also suicide.
Lots of suicide.
Very, very common.
And there's, basically two forms of opera. Opera seria and opera buffa.
Yes.
Opera buffa is, like, comedy. Lighthearted. Less killing, but still killing.
But lighthearted killing. It's not
and
that
cheating,
bad.
But yeah... Same themes, but it's less tragic, where...
Also, like, lots of people in opera buffa, like, being disguised as other people.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the people in the opera are being tricked, and that's the comedy a lot of the time.
True. It's usually gender-bending stuff, too, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh my god, let's not get into it.
Yeah, so these are all opera seria, right? These are serious, sad songs.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's start with Norma.
Yes.
So it's, this aria is called Casta diva, and you were just telling me what that all means.
Yeah, so Casta diva means chaste goddess. So in this one, Norma is the main character in the opera, Norma. And there's a war going on, Romans and Druids just fighting as people do. And so as this woman who's in charge, this aria is her pleading to a goddess to bring peace to the earth and for the war to end. And you can really hear it in her voice that there is this, like, pleading quality.
She's sad.
It's basically a prayer, really. Yeah. It's a very emotional
And I didn't remember the words at all, or had not maybe looked them up, so I have, like, the sound of the song in my head, but now realizing, like, what she was saying is...
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, it definitely fits, so...
It's all coming together.
Yeah, so let's do her.
Yeah. Oh, and all of these arias are sung by Maria Callas, the one and only.
Yes.
So we have the same voice doing all these different.
That's cool. That was good thinking.
Arias. I'm so smart.
So smart. Because there's like a handful of opera stars that everybody knows, and this is one.
Yes.
And there are recordings of her, right, on YouTube. Like,
you
can see her.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think Norma was done in Italy. I don't remember the name, but it's like an outdoor theater. And it's by the sea, so, like, you're right on the stage. You don't have to have mics or anything. Like,
right, yeah, because it carries. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god. The cruise ship!
Wow.
Just as we're talking about sound carrying across the water.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so here we are. This is Casta Diva from Norma, sung by Maria Callas.
Yes.
There we go, Maria Callas. Oh,
long but good.
so good.
Yeah, you
so
couldn't
good.
have cut that off anywhere.
No, I know. We were talking about this one. It's 5.5 minutes. Could we cut it? I don't think we could.
I usually don't listen to the whole thing, but those notes at the end are nice too. It settles it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this piece, for those of our listeners who are not opera people, implements a lot of melismas. And I want to talk about this little term. So that's when, this is a lot of what opera is. It's extending a word, like one syllable over many notes.
Yes.
Which happens a lot. So a lot of people, I mean, it is hard to understand because it is in Italian. But a lot of people find it hard to understand opera, and it is because of these, like, really lengthened syllables that it kind of loses its meaning.
Exactly.
At a certain point. So
instead of singing like one note for one word,
yes.
like you go on the piano and play like a couple of notes and then that's spread over one word. So
exactly,
it becomes more distorted, but that's the beauty in this bel canto style that
yes.
is where we're at.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh god, okay, first things first. Do you know how old he was when he wrote this?
It's probably going to be like 18 or something really depressing.
28, like...
How?
Like, I haven't written anything, and like...
We're almost there.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, we're fast approaching that age, and he died at 33, too, so imagine, like, what more could have come from him. But...
those short lives, and then, I mean...
yeah,
Mozart was writing things when he was 12. Like, full-on operas.
And a lot of composers did die young.
Yeah.
It was a different time. But it's just... suffice to say, like, it's so good and he's so young, but this was his style, right? So someone called him a melancholic tunesmith.
Oh, like, I like that.
Yeah, and like all these articles are about like his lyric, like you were saying, the melismas and stuff, but like his long flowing melodies. And then he influenced Verdi, who would come soon after.
Right, yeah. So this is a little bit of a precursor to the really big Italian operas. Like, it is still in that vein, true. But it's like the real start of the bel canto, like super extravagant long line business.
Yeah, so he was evolving things past you know what they had been the century before with I don't know, quicker music maybe, but just this was slowing things down. Yeah. But yeah, I guess, like, I'm pretty sure you touched on bel canto when we were talking about your academic research, but tell the folks at home what bel canto is.
Oh, yes. So it's hard because, well, bel canto literally in Italian, it translates to beautiful singing. So that's a very subjective concept. So there was the bel canto technique, which is like how you sing.
Yeah.
But then there's also the bel canto operas, which is a style of composition. So it can refer to a lot of things.
Yeah, it's one of those terms in music. It means this if it's with capitals, or it means this when it's lowercase, but it also applies here. But it's definitely a term that you'll hear tossed around.
Yeah,
in most conversations with opera.
Yeah, and generally it just has to do with long legato lines, just like smooth lines, and then like the vocal lines and the orchestral lines really being seamlessly put together. And then a lot of, like in this one, like you heard a lot of quick, fast ornaments is what we call them.
Yeah.
Just like, oh. You know, it's just the little, oh.
For sure, there was one part where she was falling, doing that, like...
the quintessential opera.
Yes, like the sospira, like it is a sigh, but it's emotional. Yeah, it just feels like a body response, kind of, like that's how you express that you're upset.
Absolutely.
But, so as the story goes, this wasn't, when she was going to kill the kids. This was when she was praying for war.
Yeah, it's in the first act.
Yeah, so
praying
I was
for the
thinking
peace
of another
in the
scene.
land.
But that's like the theme of the opera, right? Is like infanticide, but it's like it's just a nice moment where she's like, please don't go to war. Maybe he hadn't cheated yet, or whatever. But
right.
So the words are pretty too, like, and praying to the goddess, which is interesting. Like, it's a classical theme, right, where it's not just the Christian god, but I think it's cool. It's a nice song.
Yeah, like you were saying about the sighing and the emotion, it is very, like, I mean, singing in a way is very similar to sighing. It's just, like, letting out a lot of air.
That's true.
And there is that, you can feel that in her sound.
Yeah, and, like, we're not looking at videos of it right now, but you can see the staging. You know, she would be, like, shoulders hunched over, sort of exasperated, walking around, just sort of like, this is my prayer, like, I just hope it works out.
Yeah, and in the background, at certain points, you can hear the chorus kind of repeating and chanting along with what she's saying.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit like, I don't know, a spell, almost, like the prayer of, like, the meditation together.
It's ethereal in that way, too, because you don't maybe know they're behind her, but then it's like these voices are coming out supporting her.
Yeah, and it could be, I mean, depends on the staging, but it could be, like, she's in this, I don't know, temple or whatever, with these people watching her pray, or it could just be, like, this, I don't know, the emotional support of people is what's...
Yeah, wandering by, singing, kind of like absent-minded, just like, we're here to support.
Yeah, so it really, I mean, it depends on how...
We're not
whoever
choreographers.
Wants to stage it. No.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, exactly. So there's many ways to figure it out. That's what's really cool about operas and scenes like this, is that there's no one way to do things, really. You can, I don't know, kind of change it up. It's not all dictated to you.
Exactly, and, like, if you like the song, you can go and find other takes on it, like other people that are like, I'm gonna draw out certain notes longer, but just certain stars are known for certain roles or arias.
Yeah, well, even Maria Callas, like, her different recordings of this piece, just this piece, are so different. She'll do different things in different moments, you know, different phases of her life.
For sure. And, like, if they're singing the same things all the time, they have to shake it up.
Yeah. Make it different. Make it interesting.
Yeah, but, yeah, that was a good one to start with, so...
One more thing.
Yes!
I wanted to say, is that in this one, and maybe folks listening can find this in the next two pieces that we're going to look at, but since they're all in Italian... Fun fact about Italian diction is that you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
This is coming from the person that took Italian class for fun, like audited it during COVID school. Yes, go on, Julia.
So in Italian, there are double consonants in some words, and when you're singing in Italian, if there's a specific phrase that is extra emotional, when you sing a word with double consonants, you can put a little stop in the middle of the double consonants, and it makes it extra emotional. So, for example, if you think about the word that everyone knows, pizza, is an Italian word. There are two Z's, right? And those are the ones that make this sound. So, if you're gonna make pizza extra emotional, you can say pizza, right? You, like, hold
That's
it.
how Italians speak.
Yes, yeah, and it makes it sound more Italian, right?
Oh my gosh.
So
it's that easy.
Yeah. And then there's also a good other word, is the word, like, it's spelled Petto, which means, like, heart, soul. I mean, literally breast, but it's like, I feel it in my heart. Petto. You see how there's, like, the little stop. Yeah. So it's like when you're extra feeling it in your soul. Petto.
Interesting. Yeah. So, now I can, like, listen for that.
Listen for the double consonant stops. It's very important.
I'm so glad you went to Italy and came back with this knowledge. Like, it's all been worth it.
Yeah, yes. For this one moment, it's good that I have learned everything I learned. Okay, so for the next one, we're gonna do... for the next one, we're going to... It's Puccini this time. The previous one was Bellini, not the drink, but the composer.
There's so many E's.
So now... They're Italian. Italiano. Puccini, yes. So, coming a little bit after Bellini, this is his opera Madama Butterfly, which is... It takes place in Japan, so it's in this era where European composers are kind of exploring the exoticism, is the term we use in music. So it's... I mean, it happened especially with... Asian cultures, a little bit of African cultures, but it's this fascination with the other,
Yeah.
right? Which now in our time is a little bit, we have to be careful when we approach subjects like
Colonialism.
this. Colonialism. Yes, exactly.
Fetishization as well. Because
yes,
the people that did travel would hear the different music and the different instruments. And in this case, it's just simply different scales, right? And,
yeah, exactly.
Right, you just hit the black notes on the piano and
that's the pentatonic scale.
Yeah, but it sounds Asian, right?
Exactly,
like, So...
And so that's where this music sounds a bit different because Puccini was trying to draw on the exoticism, But
he'd never been to Asia.
No, he's never been to Asia, but he's writing an opera about a Japanese woman. Obviously.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Yeah. So in this one, Butterfly, who's the main character, she's in love with an American naval officer. And so he comes, so it's also like the white man, like, bringing culture to the other
saviors.
people. So this naval officer, she's in love with him, but he has to go away because he's very important. He has to do his job. And then, so this aria is when he's away, and she's picturing the day that his boat pulls into the harbor and the day that they're reunited. So it's called Un bel dì, which means one beautiful day. So one beautiful day, I'll see him, he'll come back to me, and I mean, sadly and ironically, when he does in fact come back to her later, it's with another woman who he has married. So what a jerk.
There's
but this is
deception.
her
Yeah.
this is her imagining him coming back to her.
Exactly.
Which doesn't actually end up happening.
Like, this longing has to be contrasted by the deception.
Exactly.
That's what makes it dramatic.
Yes. Anything you want to add before we
go
for it?
Let's do it.
We're ready? Okay. Madama Butterfly, un bel dì.
Oh
But this is nice. So, I didn't realize that it was about an American. Like, this is about an American going to Japan pre-World War II.
Oh.
So, what happened then? Like, not that opera would have been huge in America in those days, but it...
I wonder. That's a great point.
Someone has to have written something about it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Someone got the shirk to do that.
Performing Madama Butterfly in World War II, post-World War II.
Like, I need to go through the archives and see, like, where the program notes were. Because across Europe, too, it would be... it would have been, like, right after the war. And then it was like, okay, well, this is sort of on the nose. As everybody's picking up the pieces. It's like Illuminati stuff. Like, they predicted it. Anyways, those were my big points.
That's great.
So pretty.
Yeah, I really like this one, and there is really that emotional nature to it, but in the contrasting way of having the quiet longing where she's very vulnerable, because there's really, really quiet sections, and then those quiet sections contrasted with it's just like the overwhelming cry of sadness, but it's still strong. Yeah. You know, there's like the vulnerable, quiet, and then the sad, crazy, but strong and confident that he'll come back.
Yeah, because it can be like, okay, this is a big emotion, so I want to sing loud the whole time, but the power comes in starting slow, and like the art of writing an aria that builds like it did.
Yes. Yeah, and then it ends so strong.
Yeah, like, right, and then you're just on to the next scene, but the words are so pretty too, and that idea of just, hearing the cruise ship, but that she's waiting for a boat to come back.
Yeah, she says at the beginning, the boat will come back, it'll be white, I will see it pull into the harbor. There's just so many details.
Right, like how many people have been right here waiting for someone to come off a boat. So
it's so true, yeah. And I mean, as someone who has been in a long-distance relationship...
Across the sea!
Not having to do with boats, but still, like, at the airport, I guess. Waiting for people to arrive. It's such an emotional waiting. And I mean, the airport, yes, but also, like, your life while you're also waiting. It's very hard to do other things.
You can relate to this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
I mean, I wasn't betrayed... Luckily.
Yet.
Oh, thank you.
Just kidding. But no, that's sort of just, wanting someone that's not there, and, like, so heartbroken, and, like, no one really understands when you're waiting for someone either, because they're not in that situation.
No, exactly. It's a very personal thing.
Yeah, you can get sympathy, but it's not... It's hard.
And in this, I think her maid, or, like, I think her servant or something is around... So she's kind of trying to comfort her.
Such a big opera thing, too. Like, I'm going to just sing with the maid.
The maid, that's the role.
The classism. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but, like, the maid is probably there being like, okay, stop being so dramatic. Like, he'll come back, it'll be fine. But to her, it's this whole other...
Yeah, for sure.
Giant big deal.
She's going through turmoil. But it's just such a nice aria, too. Like...
Yeah, there was something that she did that I want to point out.
Oh, I forgot to listen for what you talked about.
Oh my god. Good thing we have another one.
You didn't hear it once. Dang it.
Well, there was some of that.
Which
but also
parts?
another thing.
Yes.
She used a portamento.
Ooh, I couldn't define that if my life depended on it.
All right, let me educate you.
Slipping.
So portamento is when you go from one note to another.
Yeah.
You could call it a slide, but it's like when you just descend or ascend and you sing every note in between. So it's like a really dramatic slide. So instead of like
glissando, if it was
right. So you make a big deal out of it. It also goes with the extra emotionalness of it.
Right, because like proper would be to just sing the two straight tones, but if you slide, it's like, why are they?
Oh my god, it's a sigh, right?
Yeah.
It goes with the same
Sospiro.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there was that. So this is your homework in the next piece. You're gonna listen for portamento.
I wrote it down.
And the double consonants.
Yeah.
I will give you a clue.
Please, like,
for the next one.
The
next one is called O mio babbino caro, which means my dear father. It's kind of a cutesy name for father, but oh my dear father. So babbino, there's a double B there.
Ooh, okay.
Babbino. So everyone listen for this. I don't particularly remember in this recording if she does that, but a lot of people do it there.
And this is kind of like the fur-elise of opera. Like, everybody does it.
Oh my god. Every young soprano. I did it.
For the Kiwanis Festival.
Oh my god.
Let me pull this one out of my bag.
Yeah, let's hear O mio babbino caro again. So this one is also Puccini from Gianni Schicchi, which is not as well known as Norma or Madama Butterfly.
I'd never heard of this before you said it.
It's not performed as often. It's really just this.
It's a shorter one, maybe, was what I was reading, or he had some shorter works, so.
Yeah, so it's not like the grand, big Madama Butterfly, like, situation.
Because with opera, what got put on the stages is what they could afford, right? So they had to like have those big shows that they would sell all the tickets.
Right.
This would have been a harder sell.
Yeah, maybe.
But you get some good songs out of these lesser known ones too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like the one-hit wonder of Gianni Schicchi, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, like he's gained notoriety through that. So
yeah, exactly. So Puccini from Gianni Schicchi. O mio babbino caro is this girl, I think she's maybe 14 or 16, young, and she's basically telling her father about this guy she met, and that he's gonna propose to her, and it's gonna be so great, and her dad doesn't want her to marry this man, of course, and she said, well, if you don't let me marry this man, I'm gonna throw myself off the bridge and kill myself, and so, very dramatic, like, quintessential opera.
Yeah, opera in puberty. There you go. Like
yes, yeah.
Perfect storm.
Yeah. So, Daddy, let me marry him is the.
That's all you need to know.
That's this song. It's a little bit shorter than the other ones. So double consonants, portamento. There will be a quiz later. Let's go.
Yeah, so I definitely remember hearing, but it would have been with just piano, so that at the beginning.
Yes, yeah. It's
the big
bit
fall.
of a different vibe.
Yeah, this is the real one, but it's definitely like, I think too, so much of opera is used like, it's free domain now, so it's like used in commercials, like,
yeah,
I don't know, it's like Dawn soap or paper towel or something, they use this song too, so.
It's like the Dawn when you're like, feel bad for the animals, they're covered in oil.
Oh my god, some joke was like I don't know
song.
why, like I don't wash that many greasy ducks, like I don't need Dawn, like on the commercials they always have the duck. Okay, back to this. Yeah, I like it, like it's...
At the end, so the last two words she repeats over and over again are babbo pietà, which means babbo is like daddy. Pietà is have pity. Like, have mercy on me. So she's like, babbo, with the double consonant, babbo pietà. So it's like this whole dramatic, like, oh my god, like, feel sorry for me. It's so sad. My life is sad. And the way she did it really sounded like crying a little bit. So it's like this young girl just like, I love him so much. Let me marry him, I'm gonna cry, like guilting her father.
No, like kind of knowing it, and then even knowing the words, but I was so busy listening for Portamento, like I wasn't thinking like this is a young girl crying to let her dad let her go. Like it's I don't know, I hear opera and I always think like, she's at least 40. Like you don't have a young opera career, right? So it's like when they're playing a young person.
Yeah, it's interesting how, you have to do roles of many ages.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not going to have a 16-year-old sing this.
Right.
But you do have to, as an adult, sometimes act as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, for sure.
A fun contrast, I guess.
Yeah, it's just more emotions than maybe I was feeling at that age or challenge and expressing them like that.
Exactly. Actually, a point I wanted to make about this piece is a lot of people do it on... Like, if there's an opera singer on America's Got Talent, it's this song that they will do. And they're always young women. But my issue with this, let me get very political now, when it's usually girls, like children, that are singing this. I know
exactly, like in a echoey train station or something.
Yes, right? It's just like the talent show vibes are real in this one. There's a lot of issues with younger people like that singing opera. It is a young character, so that's a bit better than if someone was to sing Norma or something. But it's kind of hard because their voices are not at the point where they should be in order to sing music like this.
Okay.
So, yes, the character is 16, but Maria Callas is easily 40 in this recording. So I had someone tell me once that your voice doesn't stop developing till you're about your mid-30s.
Right.
So when you're singing, you're really not at your fullest potential or at your healthiest place until you're in your mid-30s.
Which you're kind of waiting to get there too. Like I knew another vocal teacher straight out of university was just kind of like, opera doesn't start right away when you're this age. No, it doesn't. Which is really, because everything else is like, oh, you're 20, you're too old, athletics and...
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that's... Okay, so they're damaging their voice by maybe pushing it.
Yeah, so it's just... a piece like this is short. Yeah. It's not that high.
It's not fast either, like it's...
Yeah, it's fairly simple to learn.
The leaps? What's the danger?
It's just, it's just the fullness of, what the sound should be. And then it's the danger of them imitating Maria Callas, right? So if you have a 10-year-old that's trying to sound like this, it's really... it's hard for their self-esteem because they never will.
Okay, because vibrato doesn't always come in at the same time, right?
Vibrato's a funny thing because... Theoretically...
Wait, what is vibrato?
Oh my goodness. Define your terms, madame.
Yeah.
Vibrato is the little shake in your voice, and it is non-intentional. You don't do it on purpose.
Okay.
It comes from when you're singing with ultimate freedom, because your voice is created by your vocal folds, which are two little pieces of skin in your throat, that are vibrating together to make a pitch, right? So when they're vibrating at their optimal frequency, they will create basically additional vibrations that come in with that sounds like vibrato. So it's, if you were to sing, it's just like
that's a straight tone, right?
Yeah, and I have to try really hard to do this.
Vibrato.
But if you just sing it with normally for me, you know, like there's this little, like little waves.
Yeah.
And when I think,
when did yours develop?
Probably not until second or third year.
I had friends in third year that were like, it might not be here before the recital.
Yeah,
like,
and then people start to fabricate it, but then that's even more dangerous and harmful to your voice, because then you're putting extra strain that doesn't need to be there.
Oh boy.
So people do that to sound older, right? Okay, because I'm at this stage in my development because I have vibrato. But if you're fabricating it, it's really not great.
Like, I knew what it was, but the way you explained it, so it's naturally occurring, because I thought that you kind of had some control over it.
You do. Like, you can stop it. But, I just tried to do. It's hard to stop it. You know, it's like an intentional, okay, I'm not going to sing with vibrato.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, I guess, not strain, but, like, pressure that you would put to not have it.
Yeah, you kind of clench.
Yeah, you have to clench a little bit so that the additional vibrations don't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, is this... Like, if we listen to Baroque opera, you're gonna hear... vibrato?
This is a controversy in the historical music field, because a lot of people think that Baroque is the earliest opera, pretty much.
Right.
So, 1600s. Baroque opera, a lot of people think that they didn't use vibrato in that time, which may or may not be the case. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to tell because they didn't have recordings.
Performance practices also weren't noted the way it's...
Exactly.
It was all different terms, too.
So there's a lot of...
the debate.
Yeah, there's a lot of early music specialists that say... I had someone tell me once, I was singing Bach, and they said, you have to sing with straight tone, which is the opposite of vibrato. So... There's a lot of controversy there. I think, personally, that you should just sing what's healthy and what's comfortable.
Yeah.
And is Bach here? No. Is he gonna get mad at you for singing with vibrato? No.
Right, the parallel would be Mozart with the pedal, because he had a different pedal.
Yeah,
so now if someone sees you using pedal with Mozart, they'll freak out.
Yeah, exactly. So pedal is like the sustained, how you sustain notes in the piano.
So
it's just different techniques from different times.
And in both cases, it would be like, we're so used to hearing vibrato and sustained pedal that it's almost weird not to.
It's weird not to. Yeah. So I guess it's, at what point does the dead composer become more important than the performer's comfort and enjoyment
for their throat?
Exactly.
Wow.
So I guess you have to weigh those things. This just became a very heavy episode.
This is just the tip of the iceberg for opera, my gosh. Like, we just jumped right into Norma.
It's chill. Kill the children, it's fine.
Kill the kids. Oh my god.
And then in Madama Butterfly, she does end up killing herself at the end, because, oh my god, he came back with another woman.
It's all just so much death, like... All the big ones. Carmen, double suicide at the end. I had forgot about that, because that music is really uplifting. And I was watching it on YouTube to be uplifting, and I was like, this is helping. And then you get to the end, and they, like, in one recording, they jump off, like, the wall of the castle, and you're just like, all right.
All right, great, that's awesome. I'm so happy.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
But the emotions, this is exciting. Like, we have so much more opera to cover. We have to do some Gluck. We
should. Yeah.
Wagner. Like, we have to touch on some of these other big ones.
This is like one sliver. Of what there is.
This is the preview, I think. And we've covered some terms too, so we can talk about that more, but...
Study your terms, children.
Yeah, we should have a quiz.
There will be a quiz.
At the end of the month. But, yeah, so... The two of them were sort of military themes, which I thought was interesting, because that's a lot of opera stuff too, right?
Absolutely.
You can have love and deception, but if there's fighting and war too, like, it's...
an extra layer of drama.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a common thing.
Even like the Mozart opera Così fan tutte, which has nothing to do with the army, really. Right. It's just an excuse for the men to leave. So it's like... it's a thing that's... an occurrence that happens. It's not necessarily part of the plot all the time.
Right, and this was art, but it was also political propaganda, right?
Yeah.
The people would be paid
Of
to
course.
do this. And like a lot of opera stories too, they find a story they like, or they'll set it to music, but then they find like a different librettist, so who writes the words for it.
Yes, yeah.
Because Norma was based on another story too, so that's common. And then you get different operas set by different librettists and different things like that, so...
Yeah, because there's, I mean, a lot of operas are based on those epic poems.
The Greek stuff for sure, too. Like, we're going to have to do Orfeo and Eurydice at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, so... Yeah, the composer could maybe choose, like, oh, I want this librettist to write the story in a way that I like, so I can set it to music.
That's the thing, and then people would go to opera, and then, like, you would get the political undertones, too, right? Like, nationalism, and if it was wartime, let's go fight, and depending on the politicians in power, too. Like, it was a political tool. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Musicology or something, right? Like, the impact music has on...
society. Amazing.
Okay.
Great.
So...
This has been our first opera episode.
Yeah! All the opera series, I'll say.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Excellent. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Tenuto Talks, their music, our thoughts. I'm Julia.
And I'm Murray.
Bye!